What's going on, you guys? Nick Venuto here. Hope you're having a lovely day or night. Anyways, thing I'm going to go over today is going to be a major problem with diets, which has to do with sustainability, whether you can follow it for a long period of time. All right, so please stick around. I'm going to try to keep this one short. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much. Please subscribe if you're not. Also follow me on Instagram at Nick Venuto Fitness. All right, let's get right into it. So, a lot of problems that can be with diets, but the one I'm going to cover today has to do with sustainability. Sustainability is just defined as, all right, the Nick definition of it is, can I follow this for a long period of time? All right. And here's why sustainability comes in. It's not just what we're focusing only with nutrition today, all right, but with, this applies with workouts too. If something's not sustainable, it's just you may or may not see good results from it, but you're not gonna see good results from it in the long term, and you're probably not gonna get as far as you could. And it's for this reason: it takes time to make big results with your physique and with your fitness goals. All right, time progress can be made incrementally. It doesn't just take like a super long time to see any results, but to really make a big progression from where you're at currently to where you want to a point in the future that's wide, it takes a lot of time for that, even though you can make short-term results too. Okay, so that's where sustainability comes in. If you're not able to follow something for a good enough long period of time, you're not going to get as far as what you should be. But what happens as well, the even bigger problem is with backtracking, going backwards in progress. Example, with this is the most common example with sustainability with fitness goals is with weight loss. Some people lose the weight, but it goes back on later, and it goes back on worse in terms of they're even heavier than the worst point before. So it goes like this: they're at a certain amount of weight, they're overweight, they got to lose weight, they lose the weight, they go back up and they get heavier than before. A lot of times it comes down to sustainability factors. What they were doing to lose the weight, it number one wasn't sustainable. They couldn't follow it for a long period of time. Related to this a lot is if the diet they were doing, is it something that's really like helpful and in line with how your body needs each of the three macronutrients in different proportions to serve different functions, because each of the three macronutrients of carbohydrate, protein, and fat serve different functions in the body. All right. So sometimes this sustainability, it's related with kind of optimalness, but also to do it just with health and the fact that, whether you're looking to gain muscle, maintain, or lose fat, like there's just certain things that doesn't change with how your body operates. Okay, so things got to be tailored for you to reach those different goals, but they still get tailored and different within a certain parameter where it's always within this, and that has to do with the macronutrients. Always got to be in certain levels of proportions. It's got to be a balanced type of nutrition plan, and it's obviously with foods that you have access to, foods that you enjoy that aren't going to be such a crazy chore to eat, that you're going to agree with you, not just with the taste buds, but just it agrees with you well. It's not something that upsets your stomach or just whatever the deal is. So that's another reason. So the two biggest things with sustainability, why it's so important, is you just it takes time to get results. So you got to be able to follow something for a good amount of time to really get serious results. All right, even though progress can be made quicker. Then the next thing with sustainability has to do with just it has to do with sustainable. A lot of times it has to do with it's healthful in the first place. Okay, it's calories in versus calories out determining where your weight goes. It goes up or down or maintains the same, but it doesn't mean that you can get that done in a way that's maybe not really not quite as good for your health. That if you're under eating, or just you're not really, you're just not eating a variety enough of foods, and ensuing the macronutrients just aren't really in the right kind of proportions of what they could be for optimal functioning. You know that's the thing with sustainability. And so a lot of times, it's just the diets are just, I don't know if it's the biggest problem with them, but probably is the biggest problem with diets, is just not sustainable. They can't really be followed practically for a longer term that's really needed for getting good results. And sometimes it's at a level where it's just so not sustainable that it gets good short-lived results, but it did so in a way that just wasn't addressing the crux of the thing. Like it wasn't helping you really to lose fat. Maybe you just lost a lot of water weight and just depleted your muscles of glycogen with how you dieted, or with trying to add muscle. If it's something where you end up, you didn't really add that much muscle, but you added a lot of fat and you're just eating too much. You're just eating like a ton of food. It's being done, and you're not getting enough of clean foods. You're just going a little too overboard with getting too many calories from sources that aren't as good to be getting from. And then again, not sustainable in terms of, you can't don't just want to just keep ballooning up, adding fat, and it's just not a good overall diet in terms of just with getting mostly from clean type of foods. You know, but definitely when we talk about sustainability, it's a lot more relatability with weight loss, but it can be with other more minute type things too, with your meal frequency. Could be with if you're just never enjoying what you're eating, i.e., a chicken and broccoli and rice diet, or worse, a white fish and asparagus diet. That's even nastier. I mean, or just these kinds of crazy diets if they're putting overemphasis with juicing, or just there's I'm barely familiar with the diets out there. I just know that there are some crazy things, and sometimes those things are put together with people for very specific circumstances and weren't even meant to be followed long term. And it's stuff for people that typically, sometimes, not always, sometimes the diets are just wacky things, but sometimes they put together stuff that's for people with very specific, typically medical or health related circumstances. Okay, and where they're unicorns somewhat. They have special snowflake circumstances, not to diminish them, but they do have special snowflake circumstances. It's just they got to do something a certain way because something's out of whack for them, and it's just not something that most of us should be doing to be reaching just general health and fitness goals where we're otherwise healthy, maybe could be better even if we're overweight, but you know it's so, guys, that's the importance with just whatever it is you're doing, whether you be gaining muscle, losing fat, or maintaining and just trying to kind of improve the way you look around maintaining. Things got to be sustainable. And with gaining muscle and losing fat, sustainability definitely tends to favor doing more of a main gaining approach, which is what I advocate for, unless you really are in a camp where you just got to lose a ton of fat or gotta are really skinny. But even still, even for them, got to try to do things sustainably still. This is a really good reason to be breaking from the more norms of what you want things within. Okay. But because with main gaining, what's happening with sustainability, if you're gaining, you're in a slight calorie surplus, and it's not being done in a crazy way to add weight really, really fast. You're doing it more moderate, even keel approach with trying to minimize fat gain. With losing fat, it's again a slight calorie deficit that you're going to have the ability to still have the kind of foods you want at certain times, and you're not going to just go crazy overboard trying to lose weight. You're going to find something that's got a good balance level where you're not just hating the foods you're eating. You're eating right proportions, and you're not feeling just totally worn out and hungry. So a slight calorie deficit, as well as trying to preserve the muscle you have, if not gain some muscle while you're losing the fat. Okay, that's sustainability. That's again tying it back again with something that is done healthfully, and then it typically goes with a more even keel approach with more moderation versus extremes. Okay, so guys, that's what I got for today. I still take longer than I expect, but I try to share as much as I can to give you guys actionable steps. And thanks so much if you're subscribed again. Thank you very much. Please subscribe if you're not already. Follow my Instagram too, at Nick Venuto Fitness. And guys, if this resonates with you in terms of, I just have, maybe you've tried dieting before and were not on sustainable approaches, where maybe you even made results but then lost them and just went backwards, or just made some results, maybe sustain them, but are not keeping up with making new results, and you've got further to get to in terms of where you want to go. Guys, if this resonates and you've been in that camp, or if this resonates and you haven't had problems with dieting, but it's just that you'd like to do this in a sustainable kind of way that you're going to continually build upon, and it's going to be enjoyable to do and helpful and stuff, and not just something wacky that gets you results, but it's not really the kind of way that you really want them. I'm putting my Calendly below if you want to book in a call with me. I handle the nutrition side as well with coaching, and everything I do, I always prescribe with main gaining, and even if you need more drastic kind of results with not being in as good of shape as you want, I have an adaptable approach that keeps things sustainable at all times and done healthily. So I'm dropping my Calendly below in the description if you want to get on a see if you qualify to get on a call and consider working with me. All right. And hope this helps, guys. If this is something that you've struggled with or something that just is a real factor for you, it's sustainability with you improving towards your fitness goals and reaching them. Okay. Thanks again, guys, for watching. All right. Take care. See you in the next one.